Many white parents, they were not prepared for a black democracy. And them not being prepared for a black democracy, they've also socialized their children to this unpreparation of a black democracy. So it's as if now to be white, you must either exist in a small corner of being white or go to Australia. You must just not coexist with the black people. You must just not be ready to be under the supervision of black people. You must do all means necessary to maintain white spaces. And that socialization of racism is at the core of the anxieties you find with the arrival of many black people at the University of the Free State. After criticizing me on Friday, on Monday I got the first letter of charges. The following morning I got suspended.
Right, suspended from the university.
Suspended from the university. So
we'll share a link in the description of this episode.
So I basically said to the Vice Chancellor, I think you are trying to appease white feelings, white anxieties with this vision. You want to attract white people back for what? You know? Because what he doesn't understand, or the people who wrote it, I'm just going to attach him because he's the one selling it. Mm-hmm. What they don't understand is what made the University of the Free State white, Sizwe, from the onset. It is the population manipulation control policy called Apartheid. Apartheid made University of the Free State completely white. But it was being white in an African country. So once you have white spaces in an African country, it can only be the manipulation control policy called Apartheid that makes you achieve that. Now, when Apartheid is declared to be dismantled in 1994, what are you going to have? You are naturally going to have black people dominating in all spaces of public life because they are the majority of the population anyway. White people in South Africa are only 7% of the population. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Black people, you know how many we are? We are 82% of the population. So naturally, right, in any university, in any business, you're supposed to have black people as the majority because you are in an African country. Now, the problem with the University of the Free State, they think that the arrival of black people suddenly creates white anxieties for them. It's as if they are losing something. And that's probably the problem, so a conversation we need to have, you know, that many white parents, they were not prepared for a black democracy. I like how Professor Andre Kidd puts this point. And them not being prepared for a black democracy, they've also socialized their children to this unpreparation of a black democracy. So it's as if now to be white, you must either exist in a small corner of being white or go to Australia. You know? You must just not coexist with the black people. You must just not be ready to be under the supervision of black people. You must do all means necessary to maintain white spaces, right? And that socialization of racism is at the core of the anxieties you find with the arrival of many black people at the University of the Free State. So the arrival of black people at the University of the Free State is not looked at as a positive, progressive outcome of a democratization of society. It's looked at as a threat. You even hear it in conversations informally that it's as if the arrival of black people has lowered the standards. But you ask yourself, where were these standards? Because when I got there, I had to have a PhD to be appointed, right? And when I walked inside, there are colleagues who've been teaching here for 20 years without a PhD. In fact, the very same vision says we need to increase the number of staff members with PhDs in the next 10 years. Why are you increasing PhDs if there was a quality?
Yeah, exactly.
So it shows you that the standards have been low anyway. And now that the higher education environment is becoming more competitive, PhDs are now required in the space, and we are the ones demanded to arrive already carrying them.
Okay, so
that's where my problem
So
started.
that was the critique?
That day I criticized him. Since then,
it sounds to me, obviously, I don't know all the inner workings of UFS, but a perfectly fair critique. I'm sure there may be people who have a different view, and that's what the academic project is all about. But that it's a fair critique, and it's a crucial critique. And it's a critique that the university, I would assume, should at least have been alive to.
Yeah.
So what happens next? Now you've you've done a fairly normal thing of voicing your concerns about the vision of the university and its effect on black students.
Yeah.
Where do we go next? Because the story gets deeper.
It gets deeper because that Friday, whether the Vice Chancellor knows this or not, it's my interpretation sitting here, right? So after criticizing me on Friday, on Monday, I got the first letter of charges. The charge was that I've written on Twitter that the everyone in the gender center seems to be getting jobs except the black women. So we have an African gender center there. Okay. So they said that statement is false and it's going to rankle racial tensions. That's what they say.
And who said this? Who brought these charges? And
well, the charges were brought to me by my HOD.
Right.
He came to my office carrying a letter that you've been charged.
Yeah.
So I asked him, okay, why am I being charged for tweeting this critique?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we'll put the tweet up in this video so people can see it. Yeah.
So then 3 days later, I get another.
And just for context for those listening on the podcast, the tweet was a criticism that there weren't enough black people, black voices in a center that's supposed to study Africa.
Yes. That was the tweet. But you know, most sometimes you say these things at face value.
Sure.
And then they would go dig up the facts to say what you are saying is false.
Sure.
But you're not listening to the argument I'm trying to bring.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
So let's leave that one. So
cool.
3 days later, I get into a debate with Jonathan Jansen on Twitter. So one of the people says on Twitter says, well, Jonathan Jansen, because there was this issue at the UNISA where it was threatened to be put at administration. So Jonathan Jansen tweets that UNISA must be placed under administration. So I respond to him that I say, you are very committed in calling for black universities to be put under administration. But whenever bad governance takes place in a white institution like Stellenbosch, you hardly call for them to be placed under administration. So other users come in and then they say to him, by the way, Professor Jonathan Jansen, you are the last person to talk anything concerning governance in higher education because at the University of Free State, you exonerated white students who made black mothers, black workers drink urine in that institution in the raids incident in 2008. So I retweeted that. The following morning, I got suspended.
Right, suspended from the university.
Suspended from the university. And I was taken to a disciplinary hearing. Before I could get there, the charges increased from 2 charges to 3 and 4. Charge 3 was that I've changed the cover page of my study guide without permission. I should use study guides that have university branding. Then charge 4 was that when the HOD brought the charges to me, I was insolent towards him. So you could see. So I got suspended for about 6 to 8 weeks. I went into the disciplinary hearing, and then I won the hearing. The commissioner found me not guilty in 3 of those charges. And then on the first one, about the gender center, I apologized because they were saying it's not true that there are no black women in the okay, fine, I'm sorry. Sure. So I was so I apologized for that one, and I was given rehabilitation. Now,
even there, you don't have to say anything, but if we're going to start making academics apologize for every tweet that they put out, and again, freedom of speech is wonderful when it's protecting privilege, but and academic freedom is wonderful when it's protecting privilege. But if this is the precedent we're going to set, that we're going to hold people to disciplinary hearings for every tweet, let's shut the university down now.
Love it, guys. Our African leaders are really trying their best to manage Africa's challenges as much as they are. And when we show these speeches here on this channel, we actually encourage to share our thoughts in the comments.
Thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please share and like and subscribe, because that's the way you support Kwazemi as a channel, an Afrocentric channel, where we try to understand deeper issues in African history and hopefully develop a collective intelligence on how we wish to build the Africa we want to see as people of Africa. See you in the next one.